Hi, hello, my name is Renee. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you have joined me previously on any of my videos. Today I'm going to elaborate on how I save for my month ahead. In my first video, where I am on voice, such as this, I showed everybody how I save for several categories, including my month ahead. I did not elaborate, and here is this elaboration video. So I promised Vicky over at Pink Plum Budgeting that when I grew enough courage to put my voice on camera, I would explain on how I get a month ahead. That is this. I do not do the snowball method that was started primarily by Steph's on a Budget. And the reason I don't do it that way, even though it's a great way to do it, I cannot stay consistent. This tracker shows that obviously I cannot stay consistent. Back in November, back in October, I started watching cash stuffing videos and came across the month ahead and the month ahead method. And there are several different ways to do it, obviously. This is my method. So back in, I want to say early December, late November, I started to buy stuff to start my cash stuffing adventure. And I am calling it adventure because it has been one. I am sort of kind of a follower of Dave Ramsey's baby steps. I had my $1,000. I have been focused on paying off debt for the past 7 years. I started with Dave Ramsey back in 2019 to get out of a situation that was no longer serving me mentally, physically, and emotionally. And then, as things go, you fall off, you get back on, you fall off, you get back on. That sort of teeter-totter way. So I started to lose motivation in paying off debt because I started my journey with Dave with $45,000 in debt, student loans primarily, credit card debt, personal debt. And the one thing about me is I hate owing anybody money. I don't like it. So I thought that this way would get me to get my motivation back into going back to the baby steps. But I also kind of wanted to get when I started pursuing YouTube for different ideas, I came across the cash stuffing budget community and I fell in love. I fell in love with everyone, stuffing cash and getting ahead on their bills. And I was like, oh, I can do that. Renee cannot do that. Renee cannot be consistent. That is part of my problem with a lot of my adventures is that I cannot stay ahead. I cannot stay consistent. So, and then I started watching somebody, I can't recall if it was Brittany with Budgeting with a Ginger or Vicky with Ping Pong Budgeting or somebody. Somebody was doing the $7 a day, tinies, minis, daily savings, what have you. And I was like, oh, I can do that. So I've formulated how much I save, which is $7 a day for 6 days a week. Due to the fact that I have a Friday obligation and I do not save, I do not do videos or anything like that on Fridays because I just don't have the time. I am not home. I am literally getting off work, showering, dressing, and I'm gone until like 10, 11 o'clock at night. So, not doing that. So, anyway, back to this. So, I went ham. That's all to say. I went ham on buying things from the lovely creators in this community, and because they are so generous, they provided me with freebies. These are all freebies from my order. Now, there are more. I have a stack of more challenges that I am using to get 1 month ahead. This beautiful challenge is from Keely's Creations. And I finished that around the 14th. That could be in the 12th, 14th, somewhere in there, y'all. And then this little cutie from the Humble Budgeter. This one from Party Planner and Papery. This one from Doodle Dollars. And this one from Peachy Budget on Etsy, and I believe she's on YouTube as well. In order to get it a month ahead, so I figured out my categories. I am doing my fixed expenses like my rent, my transportation, my phone bill, my electricity bill, yada yada. I am in my portion of the grocery money for my household. I am not planning on doing a debt minimum because my debt, I'm very focused on getting that paid down as quickly as possible. I am not including that because my credit cards vary each month. My student loans vary depending on if I pay extra or not. So I'm not doing that portion of my fixed expenses, even though they are part of my fixed expenses. I'm just not doing that because it's just, I'm trying to pay extra, so I'm not even doing the minimums on that because they vary so month to month. So yeah, so back in February, let's go Renee, I got my phone bill completed using this method, using these freebie challenges, working with quarters and working with quarters and 50 cents in my random daily savings. I was able to get $50 worth of money in order to do it. Now, did I start it that way? No. I started with $11 and then $10, so $21 I started with. This was initially with rent and phone, and so the dollar was for, in the first one was for the phone and the 10 for the rent. Second one's for rent, and I was like, I'm not making progress, so I'm just gonna get rid of the rent and just do it for the phone bill. So yeah, I did do a little jump start, but I am working on my transportation, which I named gas just for, because I'm a bad speller. And so I'm currently using Peachy's tracker that was provided in my order. And yes, these are orders. No, you do not have to use stuff that comes in an order. You know, you don't have to buy anything for those that are on a debt-free journey like myself. I am not gonna tag anything debt-free journey, even though I have debt, even though I save for debt, because I don't necessarily want that to be the focus of this channel. This channel, I just want to help people find ways, creative ways to save money, as the budgeting community has done for me. I am not here to preach to anybody. I just want to share what I'm doing in case this inspires someone else. My dear friend who has encouraged me to do. So I've been on this journey for a long time, and I have shared my journey with other people close to me. And one of my friends, shout out to her, she knows who she is. She does follow this channel. She told me that I inspired her to get debt free, that she has started putting money away to be, free of debt, mostly consumer debt. And I want to also say that I'm not ashamed of my debt. I'm not ashamed of the credit card debt. I'm not ashamed of the student loan debt. I have an education. I was able to build my credit up when after swearing up and down I would never get a credit card. Yeah, and I do agree with Dave Ramsey on the thing that you are a slave to the lender. However, as much as I hate owing people money, I'm not ashamed to be asking for help, to have a helping hand, to use a credit card when I can't afford it on cash at that moment in time. Do I pay it back every month? No. I am not that crazy to think that I'm not going to need cash, because all of my expenses besides my electricity bill and my eating out, which I try to keep to a minimum, and my leftover grocery money, because while I am a month ahead on $250 worth of groceries, there are some months where it's just I need a little extra. But that's more of a whatever I want instead of the household type situation. It's all cash. Otherwise, all my bills are cash. My debt payments are cash. My transportation costs are cash. My activities are cash. All of that I need to have wiggle room in my budget in order to do. Sorry for the shaking, y'all. My hand is starting to cramp up since I'm holding my phone to record this. But yeah, so why I agree with Dave, there are some things I do not agree with, and you might not agree with this method. I find it helps for me to save consistently, to get up these amounts and then put that money in instead of tracking every little quarter or 50 cents or 75 cents, because that's a pain in the tuchus, as my vacation and Christmas savings will show you, or shows me rather. But I find it very helpful to save this way, to save tiny amounts in order to create a snowball. While I am still following the snowball method in a way, I am doing the phone bill because I need that every month. I need to pay for my transportation. I need to pay for unexpected things. That's going to be the next one, and then after that it's going to be my subscriptions, and which I've cut back a whole ton on, and so on and so forth. And this method keeps me consistent. It keeps me on track. It just allows my brain to be like, okay, we're making so much progress. And I don't think that any one method is better. Whatever fits your budget, whatever fits your saving style, and everyone has a different one. We are all not the same. I'm not trying to make anyone say the same. I'm not trying to say my method is better or someone else's method is worse, or this is just what works for me. And there are so many free challenges that this wonderful community has put out that you could save with that. You can save it like Steph on Budget has. You can do it your own way. Make it your own. I like it this way just because my brain needs a small win. It needs to show that I'm making progress, because progress is always the key. And I think that's where my problem with the snowball method really struggles most of the time, is that there's progress, but it feels slow because my loans are immense. I have $30,000 in student loans. I have about 5 in credit cards. And while yes, the balances do go down, it's not a quick win. It is very tedious. So this method I found is the best method for me in order to get a month ahead. And currently for my gas, sorry, I'm doing this all one-handed, y'all. I have 5, 10, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 25 saved for my month ahead. That's not including my $50 of phone bill that I paid at the beginning of the month. My phone bill is covered. I don't have to worry about it come, when it's due on the 21st of the month. Most of my bills are due mid-month. My rent's due mid-month. My student loans are due mid-month, towards the end of the month. My grocery bill is due at the beginning of the month, and my phone bill now is due at the beginning of the month for my brain. Transportation is also due at the beginning of the month. So, and I say due isn't, I would like to have it at the beginning of the month. And so, yeah, most of my bills are cash bills. I do not put a lot of things on the credit card besides my electricity bill, my light bill. And even that is fine for me because I get points regardless, and I can use my points, to pay it back and all that. I just find this a lot easier, especially because these beautiful, kind people decided to give me something for free in an order. So might as well find a way to use them. You don't have to buy anything from anybody. There are many, many, many freebies out in the Ko-fi world of this community. And yeah, this is how I like to do it. And how I track it besides this tracker is I created these beautiful looking trackers. These are part of saving challenges that I did for me and my friends. And look at the little capybaras that look like hearts. And I just transformed them into trackers. See, that's for my grocery bill. This is for my phone bill. I'm working on this one. Now, this art was not created by me. This was created by my friend. They are amazing. And because they are agender, and look, it's a little snail with a male cap. And so they created this for me in some fan art. And so I was allowed to use them. I am not allowed to claim it, which I would never do. I do not claim anything I did not create as a creator, not necessarily from the budgeting community, because this is a side thing for me. My main hobby is writing and drawing, and so I would never take somebody's creation and claim it as my own. And you shouldn't either. So please give credit where credit is always due, because if you don't, that's stealing. At the end of the day, that's stealing. And this is why I have a problem with AI. Just to put this out there, that I do not use AI. I do not budget with AI. I do not like AI. I will never create with AI. So if I ever put anything out in the budgeting world, it will always be something for me. And so you might not see me post a lot of things. Maybe I will one day, but it will never be AI used to conceptualize, to draw, to color, or anything like that. I don't believe in the use of AI in creative spaces. I do see its use in medical, in other areas, but not in creative works. That is just my feeling, and that's a disclaimer there. And these are the stack of other free challenges that I will work through as these to get finished, because this is my next one after I finish Peaches, in order to get further on my month ahead. So yeah, this is my method. You don't have to do it this way. You can do it however you want to do it. I just thought that this was, something different. I don't think I've seen people in the budgeting community do it this way, and I thought I would share. Because like I said, I promised Vicky over at Pink Plum Budgeting that I would share once I got brave enough. And here is my bravery. Do the brave thing, and the brave thing will follow. But that is it. My ranting is over. Y'all have a great Saturday. And another coloring video will be out later tonight. I have been behind. Things got away from me this week. And yeah, y'all have a good one. Bye.